Hello, filming on the 16th of June today, closest to the longest day, or indeed the shortest night. It's been a very benign couple of weeks since I last filmed. Can't complain about the weather at all really. It's been wet when appropriate and then drying off into quite pleasant periods, and it's not been too hot to completely dry the soil out, so it's caused a problem with watering. Missed the occasional greenhouse and basket watering, but nothing too disastrous, so to be honest there's not a vast amount to complain. It's been quite pleasant and continues to do so. This is a Thai cabbage. I always keep it here with plenty of soil change. I think it's got one more cut left. After that they tend to get rather straggly and there's not much left for it, and it comes out. We had a look in that bed before. There's a mixture of some red pak choi, bok choy, tell me the difference. There isn't really, it's just in the name. Celery and lettuce. Haven't thus far had an issue with any butterflies, which has been great, but obviously the nets stay under. The cabbages have responded in kind, mainly to the really great weather. It's not been too hot for them, forced to bolt, and wet enough for them to grow. And as I said last time, I'd had added some chippings to the soil to improve the water retention. Now, as always, I'm not really used to filming this way because of the sunlight to the left of me, or the east. Nope, I thought the tadpoles might jump up. I know it sounds weird, but they've been, noticed yesterday they were jumping up, oddly enough. Blueberries, they all, if you've got blueberries, make sure they're netted. Make sure they stay netted and well netted. Birds will still get underneath this and I have to let them out, but birds do love them. Now these are my Cornish giant. These two aren't so big because it's slightly shadier across the way as I move out towards the sun. You remember I said, why have I just put two in this huge 8 feet by 4 box? Well, they're pretty much taking up half the bed each now, and they're beginning to start to form their head. So, pair Beth. My garlic last time had around 2 weeks left. It's the earliest it's ever done. Went pretty much completely yellow rather than the 2/3 yellow as sometimes people say, and it was just before a wet period, so I think most of it came out around the first week of June, which is pretty early, but it had been in since early September. Most of it was okay and the average size, so I made sure I had some Asian veg ready to pot up a week or two afterwards. So the bed's not empty. It seems a bit mean to keep things empty at, well, before midsummer. Over here is onions, fine. These were the onions, the very baby sets used for spring onions. They're still being used as spring onions. You see, I can't actually use them all. Well, I can, they're just growing too quick. So they will fill out into baby onions and they'll be pickled actually this year. Dahlias. Into the sun once more. It's not doing bad. Mr. Pumpkin. Early peas, felled them first, which are ready. I keep on forgetting about them because I don't normally do them at the back. And the bed of daily brassicas, I suppose. It's all year round cauliflower and two F1 varieties which I cannot remember, Samson and another F1 Calabrese, which are probably 2-3 weeks away from heading, looking at those. Outside bed, again I sometimes forget I've got this, so over here, I might have to pop round, is Mizuna, which I forgot, and I'm being asked for some at home for this, for stir fry, and Mibuna, which to me looks like a weed, but I've never done that one before, so we'll see. It's certainly not a slimmer form of Mizuna. The main onion bed, doing as expected, I guess. Given they're from sets, they've got another 4 or 5 weeks before they're starting to look a bit giving up time. And I filled out those empty garlic bed and other garlic beds yesterday, and have refilled the cold frame with extra material, mainly herbs, lettuce and quick growing Asian veg. If we poke through here, I don't know if we can see, because of my tomato squash I'd run out of plants almost, so whatever was left went in the small baby greenhouse, which is usually covers me for flowers and baskets earlier in the season. The soft fruit, which again I always forget about, I didn't in the early years, but I tend to forget I've got it now, is beginning to come on, and I've got various gaps that I filled up with that and forget about it. Bird food. Amazingly, I've got help for this morning. It's pretty rare nowadays. Chilies, etc., so on and so forth. Only got 2 Capsicum chinensis this year, and those are brain strain. Finally ordered my next year's batch, which will be hopefully being germinated over the next couple of weeks. First cucumber, and there's nothing grossly exciting in here. It looks nice now, but in about another 6 weeks I always forget to prune these beasts, the cucumbers, and they'll be over here, and it's, you know, you're waiting for Mr. Spider to drop on your head and so on. When I do come in here, I do try and remember to, it's my phrase, tickle the peppers, and that's just quickly run your finger over the flowers. You do get unscientifically, unevidence-based and improved fertilisation. At least I think I get better yields, and it's worth doing when you remember. I used to use cotton buds, but I ran out of cotton buds and thought, let's try my hand, and I didn't notice any difference. Flowers are beginning to come out. There's a dahlia somewhere underneath here, and the large African marigolds look like they're tempted to come out, and the whole side of that is full of them. Did some climbing cucurbits this year, and there's an Italian one, Trombucina, I think it's already got some on somewhere. And I've obviously not completely separated out the Kabosha pumpkins. Another bed of spring onions. These are spring onions, White Lisbon. I need to start switching to these rather than the 4 spring onions of baby sets, because they're about ready. A couple of beds of celery over there, Asian celery and European, although it's an American variety, celery. The difference, you know, I have no sense of taste, but my wife assures me it tastes different. calla lilies finally coming out. So as I say, I always keep this greenhouse on the drier side, mainly so I can do the garlic, which has got several weeks left to cure or dry. Asian garlic's come up. Had to put a little bit of fleece on. Not all the toms and chilies have become hardy to this sun, and I think that's Outdoor Girl or Shirley, and it seems, even though it's been there for a bit, magnesium added, a little bit sensitive. And another batch of bit difficult to see under this green netting at this time, but another batch of cabbage. Those broad beans are now my height, about 6 foot. Again, I reduced the amount of watering I had to do this year, although I'm still a sucker for hanging baskets and got 1 or 2. I did find coming down at this time of day, which is at 6:45, which I had to do if I wanted to get this finished, I have found cumulatively I spent a lot less time here, and I hate to sound miserable. Actually, I don't care if I sound miserable, but speaking about the price of fish on whatever fish market, I said, not literally, but I'm on about talking, consumes so much time, and there's not many folk who turn up at this time of morning, other than obsessives like me. Old golden rule of letting your cucurbits climb up and they start to throw out the flowers. Years and years, I always say that, years and years it took me, and they were on the scrap list before they came out. I think last time the vines were beginning to push out, and I was going on about I must remember not to cut them too early. Well, now in this weather they have been throwing out leaves, but the fruit is largely set there, so I haven't missed it. I'm hoping the banana finishes my height, and if we have another mild year with a bit of fleece, next year it should be at 2 meters. Very shady beds. I either cut the trees down and leave the top fruit, or try something else such as cabbages in here, but I need to put some hoops on. Not sure, especially this bed, and the soil's great, I really add to it. I don't know, probably another year of mediocre crops before I take any decisive action. Again, keeping an eye on the top of the Asian greens. I'm very pleased with that. Comet sooner, definitely. My wife says it tastes more like choy sum, and it is choy sum on steroids, but I thought it was the Japanese variant derivative of pak choy, but it's just evidently not so, at least by taste. Probably potatoes are beginning to ready to look out, but I'm not a huge spud fan, so I don't keep on top of these things. Rat's tail are huge this year. Bolting, which you want because you want the seed pods. In there, the remnants of my outdoor toms that had been savaged from the greenhouse. Bright light. Sweet peas beginning to put on a display. Shallots and so on, and then the real weirdo this year, which took me by surprise, was the I bought some beginning with B, and I just can't remember the name. Red I'm probably on the wrong side here into the sun. Red peas, you see them, they look more like sweet peas in fact. We come back and look at a sweet pea flower. I didn't know they're probably an old variety, and they are now definitely 8 feet, and I had to put an extension on the side of canes. I didn't know they were going to reach so big. They are a lovely flower. Beginning to top out right now. My last garlic bed that's been replaced, and again mainly courgettes with salad leaves, and it's on my list to check if any tomatoes are actually ready. As I say, it's not been particularly difficult, to be perfectly honest. No significant late frosts, water and heat in about the right amounts, and I don't think I could complain. Clearly that means there's going to be a downpour, potato and tomato blight from now on. I don't know if I've ever shown you one of these. It's a kiwi flower. There's another one. So that's about it really. Early summer turning into, well, I suppose it's midsummer, isn't it? Turning okay. It's not been too much of a problem. And the flower border setting in, and it's pretty much keeping on top of things now. Right, that's all for me. It's time for my breakfast and coffee, and enjoy your gardening. Bye bye.